the old adage was, either you like bagpipes or you don't. What kind of thing can affect the human emotion, promoting sorrow, or peace, and joy, and excitement, or terror?
We're in South Royalton. The historic Chelsea block is just to our right. And just around the corner is the home of Michael MacHarg. He's a Vermonter, Scotsman, and craftsman who builds instruments of war.
I'm Michael MacHarg. I've been a bagpipe maker here in Vermont for a very long time, 1970, I believe. I was a hairdresser before that. And at the time, I was mostly into making bags for bagpipes, which is a very special craft. There's only been 2 or 3 people in the whole of North America, really, that have pursued this. So I came up with a concept that had already been developed in Northern Ireland of riveting pipe bags. And this is the riveting system that's used now instead of sewing. And I didn't invent it, I just popularized it. And now I'm one of the most copied bag makers in the world. I've seen riveted pipe bags in just about every country that has bagpipes, which is surprising at first. Then I thought, well, I guess they knew a good thing when they saw it or something.
When did you make your first set of bagpipes?
That's a good question, and I don't have a very good answer for you. I've always been interested in bagpipes ever since I saw the first bagpipe when I was about 6 or 7 in the big parades down in Athol. My father started building bagpipes for his own enjoyments in the 50s. He never sold anything that he made, but he did it for his own enjoyment. And I guess it's always in the back of my head about building them. And my father was a machine tool and die maker, an educator, and an engineer. And he made bagpipes. I don't know if it was osmosis through the air or what, but to this day I still use some of the tools that he made for me as an engineer. That's a bit longer. That is my main finishing reamer for Scottish Highland pipe chanters.
And what does a reamer do?
A reamer goes from a series of drills going into a long piece of wood, their step board. This takes the steps out, so you wind up with a pure round cone that's smooth the whole length of the instrument.
Did you play the bagpipes?
A bit. I was never a good student, and I just was more interested in making the instrument to make this lovely music. I was not a wood turner before I made bagpipes, but I've been teaching myself. I continue to learn, old dogs can't learn new tricks, but they actually can.
Since the Battle of Culloden in 1746, the British government classified the bagpipes, specifically the Highland pipes, as a weapon of war. That distinction stuck around for some 250 years, until 1996 to be exact.
The British now triumphantly occupy Garbis, Highland pipers leading the way.
It scared the hell out of a lot of people, including the Germans during the First World War. They called the Scots the ladies from hell because of their kilt. And when they heard the pipers coming, they thought, shoot the piper first, then the rest of the guys won't come after us.
For such a loud and piercing instrument, Michael MacHarg's workshop, with its uncut blocks of wood, jars of what have you, and spools of colored thread, is a place of quiet and reflection. The drone of the bagpipe gives way to the drone of the lathe.
A bagpipe is a bagpipe is a bagpipe. It has to have one melody pipe and some way to get the air into the bag and a bag. The drones are kind of superficial in a sense, but they're to accompany the chanter, to make the chanter not sound like this lone player out there in the bush playing for his own enjoyment. I certainly appreciate the fact that there were some people that kind of conceived the bagpipe. It was an evolutionary process. It started out with probably a flute or whistle type of instrument. And then they thought, well, maybe I should add a sac for air so that I could continue to play continuously rather than and then play some more. And it evolved from there.
What makes a good set of bagpipes?
A well-made bagpipe with a good design, if it's taken care of, will produce wonderful music for a very long time. I use nearly all the rosewoods, and there's quite a great number of rosewoods and related rosewoods. I use the fruitwoods. I use all the ebonies from Africa, from Asia, from the eastern countries.
Does that give it a tone? Does that give it a sound?
It does. If you made a Scottish Highland bagpipe out of domestic maple, it would be kind of quiet. It would have a breathy tone to it. Whereas if you made the same instrument out of ebony or African blackwood or one of the other rosewoods, it's going to have a hard bang off the chanter, and the drones are going to be warm and rich at whatever pitch they play in. And the hardwoods, the exotic hardwoods, are good for the sound, certainly. They are durability-wise. We want this bagpipe to last a lifetime, and they should. Yes, we do some updates, and we change some bores and different sorts of things to give them a bit better chance of performing on a regular basis. But most designs for bagpipes, whether they be Scottish small pipes or Highland pipes, the designs from these are fairly old.
MacHarg has built and repaired countless bagpipes, and yet there's one part of the instrument that continues to challenge his expertise.
The pipe chanter. Pipe chanters, no, not, yeah, that one. This is a border pipe chanter, but it could just as easily be a Highland pipe chanter. It has a conical bore. It starts out big here, and it's very tiny at the end. And the wall thickness is not very thick. It's maybe a 1/16 of an inch here, which is the thick, well, it's a little thicker up here. So it's kind of delicate, and you're putting force against the sides as you're turning the outside. So we usually put a steel mandrel, which is a piece of steel that's turned to exactly fit this bore tight, that gives it a lot of rigidity so it can remain stable on the lathe. Because this is all done hand turned.
Why do you like this instrument?
That's a good question. I like it because of the sound. It's, it has such a rich history. It has remained basically unchanged all this time, which means maybe they got it right at the beginning when they finally got it to the point where it was kind of not standardized exactly, but in the configuration that we know of today.
I'd have to say, I'm not sure that I have an earliest memory. It was always present. Yeah. To share a little story, right? Apparently when I first went to elementary school and I heard non-Scottish music for the first time, apparently, I don't remember this, but apparently I was heard to remark, "Where's the bagpipe?" So this is a music that I've just always had and always grown up with. It's good for all culture, for sure. It's hard to keep the bagpipes to oneself.
Iain has not kept the bagpipe or his Scottish culture and heritage to himself. Instead, he's put it front and center. He directs the Vermont Institute of Celtic Arts, where students young and old can learn music lessons or record their own compositions in the Institute's recording studio.
The band competes in the World Championships in Glasgow, Scotland every couple of years. We've won, not that it's all about the prizes, but we've won the New England Championship 9 times and the Northeastern 7. The band's been very successful. People always think about the physical requirements of playing the bagpipe, the lung power, but it's no different than, say, playing the trumpet or the saxophone or anything like that. It's all the same musical principles of tempo and timing and awareness of ensemble playing with others in a group. All the concepts are exactly the same. It doesn't matter if you're holding a bagpipe, a trumpet, or a guitar.
It's easy to forget when you're hearing something solemn played on the bagpipes, like Amazing Grace. That's not the only style of music this instrument is designed to play. The bagpipe, after all, is for dancing.
If you've got a large group of people in a hall, say 200 folks, and this is pre-electricity, a little fiddle's not going to cut it. It's not going to be loud enough. So that's where the bagpipe really comes into it, and especially the big Highland pipe. So in Highland culture, say you have strathspeys and reels and various kinds of jigs and hornpipes that you might play, and they're all different timing signatures for different dances. It's not at all unlike, say, contra dancing that you might find here. It is definitely an icon of Scotland, and it means a great deal, I think, to many people. Loads of other countries have bagpipes. I don't think that they think of them as a national instrument or in that same sort of nationalistic way that Scotland has taken on.
Join Michael and Iain at the 2026 Vermont Highland Games, taking place this Saturday, June 13th, at the Highland Center for the Arts in Greensboro. Visit the website for details and a list of activities. That closes the door on another fence. My thanks to my colleague Ben Willis for his work today and his patience with me. I'm Keith Silva. This is Across the Fence. Tap the lev. That's thank you in Scottish for being part of our family.